Hello. I'm going to start out with a poem called, I have a little bit of a train theme just in my life and in writing, and so I'm going to start with that. And this is called Joshua and the Woman Train Ride Variations on a Theme. 1. The Seattle station is full of people waiting for the Pioneer. Everyone is going east through Salt Lake. People work even this early when light snuggles nicely low. A woman with 3 children and 5 suitcases herds her children around everything they're taking to Grand Junction. The 2 daughters need the bathroom. The mother says, "Joshua, watch the bags." She slides her hand down a fine braid of one girl. Joshua watches them vanish through the bathroom door. He rams his truck against a wall, retrieves it, rams it. When the 3 come back, the woman says, "Joshua, stop doing that." 2. In the train's belly, Joshua rants for 36 hours. The woman tries to sew his lips shut around his lunch. She wants to be sure of the noise in her life, but his tongue moves too fast against suturing. The mother says, "Joshua, do this. Joshua, no. Joshua, let me stitch your lips." 3. In Salt Lake, a couple meets the train. They are her in-laws, her parents, an aunt, and uncle. They wave through the fog of this sunrise over black Wenatchee hills. The kids can't be sure that these 2 are the static being from family photos. These 2 live people with smells and voices are too old to have anything to do with their bodies. The kids don't want to kiss. They don't want to shake hands. Joshua tugs on his mother's leg and whines, "Can we get back on the train?" 4. They get off at Grand Junction. Everyone says, "Thank God." A man says, "He must have a problem." Someone else, "Poor mother." Someone else, "He must be retarded." Someone else, "Thank God they're gone." Thanks. Now I'm going to read something that's kind of an essay and kind of a story. It's a blend between fiction and reality, like most things, I guess. And it includes one of my other favorite themes, which is aliens and poker. So thanks to the poker players tonight who are here, who didn't go to the Monday night game. I'm appreciating that. Thanks. This is called Aliens, Poker, and this awesome idea of awakening. I've really shortened it, so if it doesn't make sense a little bit, that's cool. It's supposed to not entirely go together. The first time I played poker, I made $240. I was surprised. It was a cash game at Cliff Castle Casino during some special event. There were a lot of players and a lot of money swishing around. I had no idea what I was doing, so I just ran on feeling. Feelings are good. When I first started playing poker, I did a lot of research. I read Doyle Brunson's Superstars, Phil Gordon's Little Green Book, Anecdotal Tales, Gus Hansen, Phil Hellmuth, Annie Duke, Skolansky's The Theory of Poker. I watched a lot of poker and analyzed players, professionals, ex-college profs, ex-accountants, actors, ex-soccer moms and dads, and addicts. Then I found Player Pages. Player Pages shows a poker player's career in terms of statistics and total winnings. I read about one player who, after 7 years, made 12,500 cash dollars in poker. Somehow, this little-known Midwesterner stuck with me. I decided that when I reached $12,500, then I too would be a professional poker player. I kept track of everything I spent and everything I made. Then one day, 7 years after I began playing, I hit the magic number of my self-identified poker worthiness, just like that guy. I was then a professional in my own whispered poker self-talk. It went downhill from there. I am sure I am a member of an alien race, Lemurian to be specific. If that is so, then my offspring must have some of that genealogy too. My son, Rocket, says no. He does not believe in alien races or that there are lizard people with human costumes. He is a scientist, so it's okay to say there could be life on other planets, but for him, we get what we get on this planet. Its obvious flora and fauna, the regularity of history written by the oppressor, its species-centric philosophies. I say aliens show up all over the globe. He says, no, they are just bad people who do bad things. He says, no, Mom, you are not part Lemurian. He disputes my theory that there is a lizard agenda for world domination where the hidden lizard kings cultivate the population to feed on human energy food. Poker language is executive. The terms, killing it, pot odds, runner, action, gut shot, open-ended straight draw, big blind, on the button, bluff, action, pot odds, big stacked, deal your own fate, on your backs, on the river, action, out of position, felted, Broadway, full boat, full house, straight flush, action, snake eyes, all in, aces up, snowmen, fish hooks, bullets, dead man's hand, big slick, ladies, on oxygen, action, knit, cash out. Then I think about my personal poker language in my mind that I don't share. Devil's haircut, invitation, engagement, tournament killer. Oh, fuck. We aren't supposed to swear at poker. To my credit, I try to control my potty poker mouth. It's not done. Should I stop? No? Okay. All right, there's more. The first time I met a lizard dressed as a human was at school. This short guy, or so I thought, always wore a suit and tie and showed up in the back row of philosophy class. It seemed like he anticipated me, had some knowledge beforehand of my existence. Lizards are telepathic and strangely psychic. They share that trait with Lemurians. Anyway, I started the class and he stared at me for an hour and 15 minutes. I probably would have guessed that he was a lizard sooner, but he was my student. I think I would have never figured it out, except he sat there and stared at me for 4 months, licking the chops of his alternate terrestrial agenda. I've since learned that lizards came to Earth for human energy, which is their best food. They achieved this through genetic engineering of animals to create what eventually became Homo sapiens sapiens. Lemurians were originally from Arcturus, and through centuries of consciousness training and colonization on Earth, a notable place being Atlantis, they learned how to starseed human souls. Since they don't reproduce, their one commonality with lizards, they needed, like lizards, a way to continue their race. The one intergalactic commonality among all races is the desire to progenerate self-same consciousness into organic living matter. I am a star-seeded Lemurian human. I don't actually mean that I am an alien. I mean that I have some talent at poker. The lizard man in the suit taught me something about how to play, including this one online game where I saw him call a bet after the flop, then after the turn, fold his pocket kings to a large bet. There was an ace on the board. He said he was beat. I couldn't figure out why he did that. Usually lizards and Lemurians don't really connect as well as he and I did. Once when I was first learning to play, I had pocket kings at a tournament at a casino. I held onto them, and this guy who had action before me kept smiling. A cat ate the canary smile. 1, 2, 3 cards on the flop in front of us. He bet. I called. Next card up, the turn. He bet. I called. This dude could barely contain himself despite the fact that deep in my star-seeded gut, I knew I would win. Last card up, the river, a king. This dude put me all in. I called. And he proudly showed his pocket aces, and everything reaching toward heaven on his face turned to ashes underneath his overconfident halo when he saw my pocket kings with one on the board making a set. I won a huge pot and got to the final table. I got my money back plus some. When I was first learning to play poker, that was like magic. A king on the river, like magic. Profit from sitting around and thinking, which I do anyway, because I am my own kind of alien. Rocket, that's my son. Rocket, for most of his life, has done best when he eats every 2 hours. At 20, his metabolism has changed some, and his interest in Taoism, health, and psychology help him to alter his eating habits because he wants to raise his frequency, a word he prefers to vibration, and we always get our water from the artesian spring in Oak Creek Canyon. Our Lemurian side, which he denies, does well with it, and when he plays poker with his friends, he kills it. I'm a pretty honest person, and I think it might be because of my Lemurian background. Lemurians have their own history on the planet, though they are not from here originally. They initially were from Pleiades, then some of them moved to Arcturus. Somewhere along the way, they became interested in Earth. The lizards had already found Earth and saw that with some genetic modification, animals could be manipulated to carry a higher vibration and serve the energy food that lizards need. So Lemurians, really Pleiadian Arcturians at the time, wanted to experience Earth and study humans and higher vibrations that the lizards created. Eventually, as a very logical and non-emotional creatures, they wanted to study emotion and sex through alcohol and all of the sensual pleasures. So they focused on specific populations. They learned about alcohol and sex and nature. Lemurians learned how to take human form and to channel sex energy. For what purpose, I'm not really sure. I think they needed to learn how to have a good time. For many years, poker paid our grocery bill. A funny poker difference. Men mostly tell stories of loss. Women mostly tell stories of victory. Maybe men are surprised by their woundedness or make much of it. Men are less capable of tolerating pain, so biologists tell us. Women have some extra tolerance with pain because of childbirth and its potential casualties in a male-dominated sport. Men downplay their winnings. Women are prone to exaggerate theirs. A woman has never won the World Series of Poker. Perhaps there is a glass ceiling on luck. That's not all true, though. I like to lie at poker. Lying is part of the game. I pretend I'm dumb. I pretend I don't have anything. I smile, my most friendly and fun smile, whether things are going good for me or bad. I am dumb. I'm a sucker, a baby. So I'm sure the coming of the 7 horsemen of the apocalypse represents the lizard takeover of Earth, where the sun disappears from the sun like billions of years ago during the first attempt when dinosaurs became extinct. When I get home with 2 bags of food, the kitchen is a mess. The rooms in my house have become large. This voiceless house, 2 stories of it, vibrates emptiness. I can just get something to go and show up for poker and lie about what I have and where I'm going and who I'm with. If I play poker, I can avoid dishes and trash. I am desperately not domestic. I am Lemurian and live in an eclipsed idea that our evolved human consciousness will repel the lizards from our mutation that we are now completely ingrained in our DNA. I hear the floorboards upstairs creaking. My son is waking up, and he is hungry after his alien abduction. Okay, there's 2 more of us, so I'm not gonna read too many more things. I have a few poems, and I guess I'm just gonna read this because we're in a bar, and the title mentions a bar. I like that. It's a sonnet. It's called Dancing on the Bar and Doing It. I waited for your call and paced the room. Seems like you're not that into me. Don't care about mixed signals, push and pull. Maybe soon you'll ring up, chatty with all of your flair. I danced along the margin of your stair with a glass of whiskey stuck in my hand. I twirled like angels, spun around a chair, got up on the bar, found another man. He jumped toward me like he had a plan, moved like he meant it, wrapped my waist like longing's real fix, an urge, a demand. I fell for that touch and its mottled taste. I know that this might hurt, but I need pleasing. You, so aloof, and maybe just teasing. Um, okay, I have two more poems. This one's called Story of the Stone. Everyone wants to know what it is. You ask, strangers ask for its story. You say the stone looks like an elk tooth. It is the shape, color, texture of an elk tooth, but it is a stone. Your father hunts elk and deer and saves the teeth. You won't touch the trigger, but look for a stone to add to this story. Elk, tooth, stone. Someone said, it's a stone from a horse that threw me. Someone else said, it's a piece of meteorite, a lodestone, part of a tombstone from a dead lover. Elk, tooth, stone. The stone has a water-formed hole in its center. It hangs from my neck on a piece of leather. A crippled man looked through the hole at the stars. He found a cave in Ohio. He dropped the stone into the water. It washed up to my feet. A blind man once grabbed it. He said, it feels like eyes. Eye, star, stone. When I turn it sideways, it forms the eastern coast. When it's horizontal, the stone is the shape of an island off Michigan where I killed a deer. Elk, tooth, stone, map. Is contour of the island, rough as animal bone, skull, a tailbone, elk, tooth, skull, map. I leave Ohio, the wrinkled map, I hold the stone. In Ohio and Michigan, no one asks what it is. It is a small brown stone. Here, everyone asks what it is. It is a stone. It is an animal bone. It is a map, a boat, an island, an elk, an eye, a star. These nights, it is a telescope to the northwestern sky. The stone journeys up the jagged west to the stark jawline. The stone changes color when the stars fall into my bed, answering the wolf call of the stone. A constellation falls through the hole into my ribs. It is Cygnus, the swan, the Northern Cross. Okay. Okay, last one. So I'm going back to the train theme a little bit, and this is called Sestina, South of the Tracks. The wind sends the news along the one-way street and curls that day and the day before like oil paint. Thunder cracks by the mission church south of the tracks, where men walk toward the evening meal. The mission takes up a corner, and the one-legged man swings toward it on crutches. I don't know the man on crutches. He appears like an apparition, continues down the street. He combs the curbs and corners of urban desert for cigarette butts still burning. A can of spray paint rolls like a grenade toward his staccato walk. A train stops hard on the tracks. The mission south of the tracks blares its message of sin and salvation. The crutches rub underneath his arms as he walks past the alley along the street. A storm rumbles in the distant painted desert. Lightning, like a zipper, opens the corners of the sky. The mission lights stare from the corner. The neon cross reflects a horizon of tracks that carry a cargo of the wrong kind of dreams, painted with a horizontal smile, a social crutch, to share with the faces in the street. Wise ghosts sail by as if they could walk from place to place, like many of us walk, with form and mass filling space with dimension. A corner bar draws people from the street, full of ink hiding faded tracks and scars. A legacy of crutches waves them like brushes full of paint. Memory paints a history of others who walk on heavy journeys to gather crutches, Like the man cornered by a treacherous mile, where tanks dig their tracks, here, again, and now, far away, along San Francisco Street. After dinner, night begins to paint deep into the corners, darkness empty. The man on crutches heads towards the tracks on the walk toward Main Street. Thank you.